Guys, I was watching this game between Lake Forest College and Finlandia University, NCAA D3, and I noticed this play from which I think we can learn a lot of things that relate back into the video I posted up about neutral zone regroups and breakout regroups and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to play it really quick so you can see what's up. Basically, we have Finlandia in dark. It gets kind of caught in their zone here, and puck squirts out, and Lake Forest in white manages to get a 2-on-2 break here. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is this backchecker for Finlandia. It's hard to point them out because I don't think my cursor shows up on this board. But here we have this. You'll notice X's are the two X's are the attacking players, and the three O's are the defending Finlandia players. This player, as the puck's going to end up being passed across to this guy, and he's going to drive wide pretty much. This player is going to cut to the center and try to cut this defenseman out of the play, do his best to make this into a 2-on-1 with this defenseman. So he does a good job of doing that. The problem is that this backchecker, instead of backchecking to the center, like I was saying, you should always backcheck to the dots, curling and all that stuff. It's also important defensively, as you can see in this example, because instead of backchecking to the dots first and gaining that centerized position, he backchecks wide and then catches himself out of position. And basically at this point, since his check is cutting across the ice and cutting this side of the ice out of the play, he has removed himself from the play by playing too far into this side of the ice, and there's nothing he can really do to defend the rush. So let's watch that happen. Now you can see this player cut across, and at this point the Finlandia backchecker is so far behind that he can't really do anything to affect the play. I'll just let it play out so you can see it. Nothing comes of it in this situation, but you can see how that could be a problem potentially. So let's start this over again so I can point out something else. Now we've got this pass across. As I mentioned, the player who did the pass, made the pass, did a good job of cutting to the other side of the ice. He could have reacted a bit more quickly. I'd like to see him make the pass in stride and immediately, know that his goal is to gain inside position on this defender and drive to the center hard immediately. But he does recognize the play and does a good job coming over in the end. But this player, who right now is carrying the puck into the zone, he starts out pretty well. He's on the dots. He's got a good attacking position right now. Look how far inside the dots the defenseman is forced to take up with that good attacking position. He's made himself a threat, forced the defenseman back, and he's got all kinds of offensive options right now. But what he does next is, instead of maintaining that threat and attacking along the dots, he drives wide, way too wide, outside of the dots. He seems kind of scared of the defender and puts himself out of the play. So he's no longer a threat, and the only plays he has at this point are to either try to drive wide, really, or to try and make this pass to his trailer on the inside. So he does try to drive wide. I don't think that was the right play in this case. You could see the defender was in a pivot, and the pivot is the perfect opportunity to pass through a defender. So if he had made the pass right here, likely, they would have still maintained some chance with this guy coming up. It's kind of a low percentage play since it would still be a 1-on-1, but it's better than 2-on-2. That's always the case. Anyways, he drives wide here, drives way too wide without any kind of fake to the inside to draw the defender in or anything like that. So he drives himself into the boards and loses any kind of offensive position. He gets checked out to the side. Good defensive play. Now he's got the puck on the boards here, and just one quick other note. I don't know if I've mentioned it in any of my other videos, but when you're on the boards, your first goal is to get off the boards immediately, as quickly as possible. This player doesn't do that. He kind of hesitates and stands on the boards, and that's going to allow this backchecker to get back in the play and check him off the puck. Whereas if he had gotten off the boards immediately, he might have been able to roll off the check and maybe even create some more offense coming out of the corner. But he's not able to do that, and it's going to be a turnover, and that's going to end the play right there. So I'm going to start this over one more time. I don't want to take up too much time with this video. Just to watch this attacking player who is going to get the pass. Watch his pattern. See, he skates in a straight line to the outside. Let me get to the board here so I can show you what I mean. If you don't get me. So we've got this player and this player, this defenseman and this defenseman. This attacker wants to attack along the dots that way. He can then fake to the inside to draw a defenseman in, because the defenseman always wants to maintain inside position if he's any good. If he's not, then you can just drive inside and score. But he always wants to, that defenseman wants to maintain inside position. So you, instead of just going straight to the outside, which allows the defenseman to play on his own terms and reduce your angle however he wants, you want to fake to the inside and control the play. Control the defender's feet, force him to go to the inside to create more room on the outside, so you can still cut to the outside, but be in a fairly decent scoring position instead of cutting way out wide on the boards. That way, he can become a dual threat when this guy comes over. And actually, it'll be a dual threat 2-on-1 instead of really essentially being a singular threat 2-on-1, where the only thing this guy out here can do is to pass it. He can't really score from there. All the defenseman has to worry about is getting him to the outside. Anyways, hopefully that makes sense. And that's what I'm trying to get at here. So let's watch the rest of it here. He had just been driving in a straight line to the outside instead of making himself an inside threat first. So this allows the defenseman to cut down the angle very quickly, control the play, and get him to the outside. He isn't able to come off the boards there either, which causes, I don't want to say it causes, it wasn't a guaranteed thing that he'd be able to roll off the check if he was off the boards, but there would have been a chance that he'd been able to create offense, which he wasn't able to do. So let me just try to demonstrate that point, since I think I need to. I feel like I need to elaborate more on it. In the corner here, say this player has the puck, and this defenseman is coming at him. If this player just stands on the boards, then his options are limited. He can only go that way or that way, and the defenseman can read that and then react and pin him against the boards. Whereas if he comes off the boards a little bit, maybe say comes up there, this defenseman comes at him. It also, first of all, it changes the angle of attack a little bit, so it controls the defenseman's feet, so you kind of have an idea, even without looking at the defenseman, which way he's going and how to react. What it also does is create a little trap door here, so if the defenseman cheats too far this way, then that player can curl back into that back door and attack the other way. If he cheats too far this way, he can just skate around him. You see what I mean? But what I mean by rolling off the check is, Johnny Gaudreau is actually really good at this. I've seen him do it a few times. If you are a little bit off the boards here and you get the check, this defender actually makes solid contact. If this puck carrier is able to establish a soft shoulder and maintain puck possession, then he can actually use that momentum from the hit to spin himself around and head up the boards. I don't know exactly how to explain that. I'll try to get an example in a future video maybe. But I've been talking for about 8 minutes now, so I'm going to cut it off there. Hopefully this has been educational, and I'll see you guys around.